Okay, so I have Edison here with me, and if you're just tuning in, you don't know me, my name's Ryan Kingslien. I am the founder of Game Art Institute, and with me, you're looking right now at the screen of Edison, who's in the Game Artist Bootcamp, and has just produced some really amazing work. We're looking at his telephone right now, and I wanted to have a conversation with him and kind of unpack this work and unpack his experience a little bit, which he's still in and still killing as he's moved on to an environment. But thanks, Edison, for joining me.
Yes, sir.
All right, so tell me, why don't you start by telling me, and you can just call me Ryan, because when you say sir, they might start to think that this is coerced.
That's right.
I got a cold. So tell me a little bit about your background. What were you doing before you came into the boot camp?
I am a 3D animation instructor.
Mm-hmm.
I teach from 3D modeling
Yep.
to the last category of 3D animation.
Okay. Got it.
I mean, yeah, from modeling, texture creation, UV layout creation, lighting and render, rigging characters, animation, compositing it to the final renders.
Yep. And what made you want to get into the boot camp?
I feel kind of bored because I have been in the industry for a long time, and I wanted to have a bigger scale of work. Like, for example, creating games is a bigger scale,
Yeah.
and yeah, like that. That's the idea, and more more artistic work. That's how I see it.
Okay, got it. All right, so now in the boot camp, the first project, which is what this phone is, the first project is we create a prop. So let's take a look at your. I think you have the high res, right? Not the low res, but the high res.
Yes, I have.
Let's take a look at the high res. So the first thing that we do is we create a prop, and we create it based on the high res model, but the high res model using a construction mesh approach. So using a specific approach to modeling the geometry, with the goal of getting the proper edges and bevels and all of that. Can you kill the wireframe?
I'm sorry.
All right. So tell me about this piece. What was why'd you want to make this piece?
The purpose of creating high poly model is uh, extract these edges.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean,
That
why'd you want to create this particular phone?
it's kind of complete when it comes to material presentation.
Hmm.
It has it has a wood. If you for this reference to the back, there is wood. There is a steel, stainless steel. There are metals. There
Mm-hmm.
is wood also here.
Yeah.
So I think this have also a cloth. So that's one thing.
So it had lots of opportunities for you to express the materials and demonstrate what you can do.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Perfect. All right. And so, and you were just about to do this, so I'll ask you this now. Why do we start with a high resolution model?
It's a kind of basis where you can extract all of this information from this object. So, because in game we are using low poly model, so instead of creating a lot of edges on the sides,
Mm-hmm.
we can use that to serve as a normal for the low poly model,
Yeah.
so that your low poly will still have a rounded edge.
Yeah. Yep. And then I'll
Yeah.
ask you another question, because some people who are watching this, they might be interested in the boot camp, but I want to make sure you get value no matter what your purpose for watching this is. I see your mesh isn't, not all the pieces are integrated. So, from your experience, is it important that everything be one mesh in the high res?
I, I I think it will depend on the where you will use the model,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, it will depend on the field where you will use it. For example, you work in architectural,
Yeah.
um, yeah, so windows are separated from walls like that. So anytime you can change color of its object, it's not very hard to you need to mask something out
Yeah.
because it's merged together
Yeah.
or one object. I think that's one purpose of that.
Okay. Great. All right, works for me. And did you do a low res of this?
There is, yeah.
Let's take a look at the low
will,
res.
I think it's open here already. This one.
All right, and we pulled together a bit of a scene on this. So the difference between what's the poly count on the low res? I know it's a little high because of the cable and some of the silhouette stuff that we did, but all right,
It's
so
around 10K only.
okay, 10K.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can see it here now. I guess this is
Yeah.
For the face, yeah.
and a good bit of that is in that chord. All right, so if we kind of
yeah.
What is that for 2000? Yep. All right, so in the low res, excuse me, this cold is not going away. Man, it's been a month. So all right, in the low res, talk to me about what you're trying to do in the low res. What's your purpose? What are the things that are important for you to keep? What are the things that are important for you to get rid of?
You need to stay on the, for example, this part.
Yep.
See this one. Where is the back? If you are seeing the reference, the shape is there is a curve there in here.
Mm-hmm.
So here, the high res, I made it according to the reference. So here in the low poly, just trying to maintain it, but considering also the poly count.
Mm-hmm.
So if this will work, and also by seeing it 1 meter from the object, it's not noticeable that you need to, maintain too much of that shape.
Right.
So that's one thing that I do.
Okay, but then I noticed that the round curve underneath it, just like a couple of inches underneath that, the part of the hook.
Yeah, this part.
No, down a little bit further.
Here.
No, not even on the phone itself, but on the receiver.
Here.
Yeah, and then go a little bit to the left, and you'll see the kind of where the metal dips down, and it's a little bit of a take it to the left, to the left, to the left. We'll get there. There you go.
Yeah, this one.
And then if you take that down, and you see the whole round pipe at the bottom of that.
Yeah, this part.
Yeah. So the modeling for this, I think, is something that's really important for us to kind of explain, because in the high res, or in the low res, this actually has a lot of detail. So why do you put a lot of polygons in the low res of this? And granted, we're looking at the high res right now, but if you look at the low res model, you put a lot of geometry there.
Yeah, because the silhouette of it, if you turn off just no lights, you can see it here.
Perfect.
So that's one purpose. So trying to, because even on far distance, sometimes it shows up some hard edges. So just trying to prevent it not to look like there is a hard edge there.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad. I really wanted to for you to kind of explain that, because I know in the course for us the the general idea is that the low res, people tend to think of the low res as you just you get it as low res as possible. But you did such a great job of what a low res really is, which is a low res captures the beauty of the model while living within the constraints of whatever game engine or gameplay they have going on. And so, you put the geometry in where you needed to, and you took it out where you needed to. That was really good. Those two were a really good example, and I think you did a really great job on this. So if we jump into the high res, I want to see if you can walk us through a little bit of what do you think is important for somebody to capture in the high resolution? Because I've run into this with people in the boot camp where it's like they just want to get through this and they want to get to the low res, but you can't, because everything it all starts here. So what is important to make sure that somebody captures in the high resolution?
First is that if you will work in a company, high resolution, it depends on what kind of field, but creating high resolution model is a must also.
Mm-hmm.
You need to consider that when, you need to know how to create high res models. It really depends on, for example, it depends on the workflow of a company.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they create a base model like a very low res just for them to see. It depends on the time of the production,
Mm-hmm.
or I mean So creating the high res is also one thing that is important. Also is that you get some information from it that you can use. Just what I had said before.
Yeah.
So that's really important.
So what is the information that we need to capture?
Just like what I have said before, this
bevel,
round edges, and what else? Almost the information having exactly the silhouette and the scale of that model.
Yeah.
If you have created it in the high res, it's easy for you to reduce it to low poly.
Good, great. And I let you sit on the hot seat there for a little while because I wanted to really make sure we pushed that. But if we zoom in on that area that you've got right now, I think this highlights what's really important to make sure that we get in the high resolution, because everything comes down to the edges and the roundness of the bevel. Like that's basically the whole thing. And paying attention to whether something's a millimeter out or 2 millimeters out, that's the game, right?
Yes, measurement is very important, especially for small objects like this. So trying to consider 1 mm is a big thing when it comes to small objects, because that is where you may showcase your object as a realistic looking object.
Yeah.
Because people tend to see objects like, other artists, like, new artists, sometimes they think that, we'll just model that without being constrained to strict measurement. But if you are really trying to make it look realistic, you need to really, even 0.25 of mm sometimes.
Yeah.
It will depend. Yeah.
Great. All right, let's take a look at your substance. And so in the bootcamp, what we do is we go through the prop and we do the high resolution, then we do the low resolution, which we've just talked about, and then we get into substance, because substance is de facto. I mean, I don't mind if people use Quixel or anything else like that, but if you want to be doing this and you want the best possible case, you get into substance. That's pretty much standard at this point. So let's pop into your substance file.
Yeah, this is it. It's an FBX file that is being brought here.
Okay, so you brought in FBX, and talk to me first, just real quick. I don't want to get too detailed in this because I'd like to get people some information on some of the way in which you did the texture. But in the importing of it, I see you've got multiple texture sets. So how did you establish those texture sets?
It's very easy. Okay, I think I need to open this one. Okay, I will just explain it. For example, I will select this telephone. I will open the hypershade. So, for example, let me select one. And you see this part of this mouthpiece. This is the shade. This is the shader. So each part that, for example, you have these parts that will have same material. Just assign a shader for that, because in Maya we call it shader. This, for example, sorry. For example, you have this object. You will assign a shader, and then just rename it. For example, gold. And again, the other object, assign a shader, and then let's say this is silver. And then if you will export that, let's go to export selection, and you will just name it, for example, cylinder. And then those shaders will carry out with the object. So if you import it to Substance Painter, you will see those silver and the gold. So that is how this is being made. This texture's name, this object shader name here.
Got it. Great. Okay, and so let's look at one material. What material do you think really kind of shows off how awesome Substance is?
There's a lot of it. For example, let's example this handle. So this is the handle, and this is a steel or a metal, and the other side is a wood. So if you want to work solo, and you can solo that out. And these are the layers.
Yep. So what do you start with? It looks like you start with a, excuse me, a base color.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and then walk me through your layer stack.
Yeah, of course. I can even recreate this. So
cool.
Let me just group this out. So first you need to create a fill layer. So this is it, and then just change. You need to know what channels you need. For now, I will turn this off all, and then the color. So of course, this is brown. So if you don't have a reference here, for the color to sample, you may sample your existing one. For example, this one, my wood. And after that, just naming it, so you'll not get lost. And we may add this roughness to it, so we can control it like that. It's very easy. And then let's duplicate that, and let's make a color variation for that. So right now we have this color variation. Let's just add a black mask. For example, let's just, for us to see it, let's make this color a different one for now, like this. So what this, let's toggle that mask. So the black mask will mask the color out.
Okay.
Let's toggle it on again, and then from here, from the black mask, you need to notice this color which is highlighted. So we are now here in the mask. So this is a black mask. We can add again this paint. Sorry, paint is not for this one. Let's add fill. So this fill, while we are in the fill, let's say we need a black and white. These are
oh, okay, cool.
yeah, procedurals that you can use there.
Okay.
So right now, the color green is eating all the brown. So let's say, let's click this and let's change this. Let's go back to pick the same color and then make it darker. There. I hope that is seen on there.
Yep, I can see it. Shows up on the recording.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
So
subtle
that's
too,
one.
which is important to keep in mind, you know, because it's so easy to overdo this stuff.
Yes, and I think this is too shiny. We can add more roughness to this. There.
There we go. Yeah.
There. So we have one color variation. We can add more to it, but I don't want to make it too busy because I will add some detail here.
Yeah.
So next is create a fill again. Let me name this as lines. And we need again this black mask. And then again. So aside from here, I also work here. Just right click the paint. So this is where I use paint. Right click and so for example, this is the alpha. This is the default alpha.
Yeah.
So if I paint here, we can see that it's that we can paint here now.
Yep.
So on this fill layer, which is the first one that we made, we will open that. Let's try to turn off. Okay, let's turn on the color. Turn off all of these channels. And then in the height, the height value is 0. We can increase that. So if I increase that, see it has this height already.
Okay.
So yeah, just to erase it, we can go back here to the paint and press number 2, and let's erase that.
And what does number 2 do? Just so we're crystal clear.
It's a hotkey for erase.
Got it.
One
is
just
brush.
like in my other, yeah, 1 is brush, 2 is erase, 3 is I think it's here. Yeah, projection is 3. Okay. It's here on the left. So
Perfect.
let's go back to number 1.
Thank you.
So of course I need something like, you know, lines here.
Yep.
So how I do it is go back here to paint. These alphas, I will just, you know, delete this alpha.
Okay.
And then this stencil, this is where you will plug in your, for example, there is a procedural brick here, this one. Let me make it this one, bricks one.
Cool.
Drag it there. And then you can see it in the window pane.
Okay.
So to work on it, let's F1 is will show the perspective and the texture map here. Zoom it there. Then open this for the brush. So I need lines only without this vertical lines.
Okay.
So this is the gap that makes the vertical lines.
Okay.
And then this is the number of the lines. So let's increase that. And before I apply the height, let me change something to my brush. I always turn this off, the
Oh, okay.
pressure of the brush.
Yeah, for this work.
Yeah, for this almost all the time, almost.
Okay.
Even in texturing. But it depends. Yeah, you're right. It depends. So for the alignment, alignment working here on the window, we better use UV and then texture. So again, these are the buttons for the, instead of scrolling this, you can do it here faster here. So the alpha is, there's no alpha. That's why this is square already right now. Let me increase this. If I just click it there, you see the effect here on the left side.
Totally.
So I'll just undo that, and then for this stencil, let's decrease it. I mean scale down, scale it down, scale it down, and let's click it like that. So there are lines on the side.
Yeah.
If you don't want to see this, if you want to toggle not to see this, just click this main fill layer, so you can see it.
All right, so that means you go out of that mode where the stencil is, out of the paint layer, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go back here.
Cool.
And then of course you want to erase this side.
Yeah.
It's very easy. Click the paint layer and go to number 2 again to erase something. And again, I have alpha. That's why this my erase brush is round. I will just delete that.
Okay.
And then again, I need to check my brush setting. I don't want there some. That's it. So I can erase this. Okay. Let's see. So you can see it. Oh, it's in the other side. Sorry. There. A little more.
And what are you pressing to draw the straight line?
It's a combination of shift and I think control.
Okay.
Let me do it again. Here, shift. Yeah, control.
Cool.
Shift control. Yeah. So let's just leave it like that, so we can, see some other things going on there.
Yeah. Yeah, that is great. All right, what's another? So the key thing for people to understand, excuse me, is that you start with the base color, you add some dirt to it with some procedural, the black and whites. That's a really cool trick.
Yeah.
And then the normal map, the lines in it you get by just basically using a layer with the height setting on, not normal map, but height setting.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. Got it. All right, let's take a look at one more material. I don't want to take up all of your time, but I just wanted to kind of walk through this because you did such a fantastic job. So let's take a look at one more material. What would be a good material for us to look at?
By the way, sir, before we step into that, there is a little trick to this.
Okay.
I want to share it.
Yeah, by all means.
You're right. Yeah. In this paint right now that we have, this height, you just right click here and then add the filter.
Right click where?
This part. This paint. I mean this.
Got it. I see where your cursor is now. Right click over in the paint.
Okay.
I'm with you.
So I think I need to add an anchor point. Okay, let's skip this for now because
you show us another trick. You show us the trick later.
Yeah.
Another video. Another video. Yes. All right. Let's look at just another metal, and we'll give them something to look forward to.
Yeah. So, I mean, what else do you want here, sir, for this one?
Yeah. Why don't we look at that one? Unpack
Okay.
that for us. Walk us through how you did that.
So this is the Rust base.
Is it a preset that comes, or did you make that?
No, these are just few layers and just erasing part of it.
Okay.
For example, let's turn that off, and then let me drag this down, and
so again, you go color, height,
yeah,
and roughness.
yes. Let's check this color, make it a little darker. Make it rough. And then we can change the color anytime. So let me duplicate that. Black mask. And we can paint on it. So let's go to brush. And because my brush alpha I deleted before, so if you just click here, it will change your I'm sorry, I was in the erase mode. Okay. So this is my brush. So if you click here, there, I have a strong chalk.
Okay.
So let's change this color. This let's say this is the rust. Let me rename it. Click there and change the color of it. Like example like this. Let's go back here on the paint, and then let's paint the rust, for example. There. It will depend on the brush, on how you work with it. And considering the hardness of the brush, you can test it here. It will take some time for you to to complete. At first, doesn't look nice, but
Okay.
by adding a little bit here and there, and then just for example, this one. That's just the simple step that I do and then if I will turn on this, it is here. I even made a test here.
Yeah.
Where is that? Base. Okay, sorry. I think this is the other one. Yeah, this is the rush base. I work sometimes in a different way. I first make the rush base under the paint, base paint. And this ornament is this one.
Okay.
So if I would want another ornament again, just turn off some the other channels, and then make place a body there, -0.5, and then here. For example, this one. So my brush again has pressure on it. UV texture. And I just want one there.
Great. Okay,
so yeah.
Okay, so in this one, I want to unpack this a little bit, and because it looked like you hand painted as opposed to using a generator or edge masking or anything like that to get that little extra. Yeah, that exactly. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Yes. A lot of this is hand painted. I never use. I just use a brush here.
Mm-hmm.
I select chalk especially because before I do create textures in Photoshop, I use chalk also.
Oh,
You know
nice.
yeah, the basic brushes
Yeah.
that Photoshop has.
Yep.
It had helped me a lot before. So the techniques that I do in Photoshop, I just do it here also.
All right, my friend. Okay, let's zoom out and take a look at the whole thing. Thank you so much for breaking down those materials in that sense of things. So tell me, what'd you get out of the boot camp? This is actually the first time I'm asking you
So
this, but what was the value for you in the boot camp?
it is where you get critics for your work, and it's like you are working
Mm-hmm.
already in a company or a studio.
Mm-hmm.
That you have a mentor telling you that this should look like this, and the construction of this is a bit not on the right path. So I think the guidance in the bootcamp and giving you also some inspiration on how instructors, or I mean, uh, 3D artists do their work. It's a kind of a good fellowship, like other people helping each other. So, and especially the every week task that you need to create, it makes you on the track, and you don't sleep on work that on schedule that you have. You need to finish that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like a work, but it's enjoyable journey.
Awesome. So what did you get out of it? Like, what was one of the things that you really feel like was a big benefit for you?
The benefit of it is unleashing my. It's like I don't want to sound like
You sounded a little Tony Robbins there.
it unleashes my the years of I'm waiting for a software uh, to make texturing faster.
Yeah.
So it's just very timely that Substance Painter came out, and then I wanted to also to go to another game school to study something, and then it unleashes my how uh, how I show my texturing
Yeah.
skills and how it looks like.
Yeah. All right, my friend. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and walking us through all that stuff. Have a fantastic rest of the day, and I appreciate you with all the work that you've done, all the hard work. Your stuff is looking great.
Yes, sir. By the way, I can show. Sorry,
Yes.
I can show this fast, so I don't want the people waiting for this.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You're ready to
Uh,
dive in? You were going to show
yeah.
us the anchor option, the anchor feature, yeah?
No, this is just not the anchor one, but I mean the easy one.
Okay.
It's let's just create this, and there, and then because I have a height here
Yep.
on this, and then just filter, and then the filter. Let's add this material effects. This is what I use, especially on the window on the project that I made,
Mm.
and then in the height. Nothing is showing here. We need to change the color here. There.
Oh.
The purpose of that, okay, let's have another color here so we can see it. Example, we have here red, and then here we have there.
I like that.
So here, it will spread like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one effect that I use, especially on those height that doesn't have geometry.
Mm-hmm.
You need sometimes detail on the sides, right?
Yeah.
So that's material effects detail elsewhere.
Nice. I like that. So that's the using the stamp and then using a filter to kind of get in there and color some of that.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, like a generator on top of the alpha. That's awesome. All right, thank you so much, Edison, for showing
Okay.
us this. Have an awesome day.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ryan.
All right, thank you, sir. Talk to you later, my friend.
Okay.
All right, bye.